Woo-hoo-hoo! Ladies and gentlemen, the time is finally here to start working on the D16Z6 cylinder head, man. Check out just how beautiful this thing is. So I painted the valve cover. It's a wrinkle red. Looks so good. And then I did some work to the letters here to get it to look fantastic. I also sent the head off to the machine shop. They hot tanked it so it looks super clean. I ended up painting the front side here, which is the exhaust side, to match the block, because I also painted that for it to look like new. But now we're finally gonna get this thing together so we can put it onto the block, put the head gasket, torque it down and all that good stuff, and finally have this thing be a full engine again. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long process and I'm finally ready to get this thing together and start throwing it in the car and firing it up, man. We got things to do with the car, you know what I'm saying? So the first thing we're gonna take care of are the valve seals. I got them right here. VTEC valve seals, 5.5 millimeters. So these are the intake ones right here, the brown ones. Got 8 of those. And then we got the exhaust ones, which will be the blue ones. So there's a valve seal per valve here, and there's 16 of them. So we're gonna have to do this 16 times, which I don't know, it'll take some time, but nothing we can't do. I went to Harbor Freight and bought this valve spring compressor, which will help us out. So yeah, man, there ain't nothing to it but to do it pretty much. The only thing that I'm kind of like still wondering is how clean the valve seats are gonna be down here, because you can see they still have a little tiny bit of carbon buildup. So I guess once we take the spring off individually, we'll just check each one, and then if I need to, I'll just go to the store, buy some lapping compound, clean it up to have them seal really good. And yeah, we'll keep moving forward with this thing, man. Let's go. I'm so happy, bro. She's getting close. Let's go. So I got this thing at Harbor Freight for $60. There are some other types where you could just clamp onto the spring and then tighten it down, and it kind of does the same thing, but I think this one's easier just because it's bigger, and it gives you more leverage. So it should be, in theory, easier for us to just use this big ass clamp, boy. All right, so pretty much how this thing works is, let me move this out the way. This bottom piece here will go to the bottom of the valve here, and then this piece up here. So the cool thing is it has two, this bigger side and this smaller one, and this will push right here on the edge of the retainer here, clamp it down, and then you pretty much just use a magnet to take the keepers out, and it should in theory be easy, so we shouldn't struggle too much. It just, I think the hardest part about this is going to be to take the old valve seals off, depending on how bad they're stuck in there. Usually I've seen them be kind of stuck and you got to use fire to take them out, and I've seen people just use some channel locks and pull them out. So hopefully that can be us. So I've been trying to adjust this thing, and watch how easy this is now. Look at that. You ain't even got to put no effort and it's already squeezing it. So with that, then I'll come with this magnet, grab the keepers. So there. Get that one. And then we slowly, look at that. That took no effort, man. Beautiful. That's so sick. So now you can see the OEM ones, those are all green. Hopefully we don't have no trouble taking them out. No. It's hard. Fuck. I guess we could just take out the valve and see if we could just take it out some other type of way. And I guess that'll, they don't look too bad actually. So these are the valve seats right here. We could probably just clean up all that carbon, and then let's see the bottom of the head. That does look kind of dirty. I'll try to clean it up first before I try to do any kind of lapping, but to me, it looks like I'm gonna have to go get some It's called lapping compound. We just put that onto the valve seat right there, and then I can use a drill to spin that in there, and it'll create a new fresh seal. So it looks like that's the route we're gonna have to go. All right, guys, well, that actually went really smooth. I'm so happy about this tool. Harbor Freight, man, 60 bucks. That shit is a lifesaver. I literally did this in like 20-25 minutes, if that, and look how good they look just chilling here. But now it's time to try to take these valve seals out again. I'm gonna be using these channel locks, same thing that I used earlier. I did look up some videos to see how other people did it, and they just literally grabbed some fucking pliers and just went back and forth. So seems like that's what's seems like that's what's gonna work. So yeah, we're about to give that a try again. All right, guys, I think it's about to come out. I just kept spinning it around. There we go. Hell yeah. Now I just got to clean up all that other stuff left behind. All right, guys, and there it is with all 16 valve seals removed. And man, my hands fucking hurt, man. So just pretty much use the channel locks to pry on them, wiggle them around. And I mean, if you guys know of an easier way, please let me know in the comments, because I need to know, man. Or either that, or I need to come up with a tool, because yeah, it's not difficult per se, but it's hard because they're on there, man. It takes a lot of effort. But anyway, we got them all off of here. It's actually looking really good. Check it out. And then we got all of the valve seals right there. You can see which ones were harder to take out than the others. This one's actually really clean right here. But check those out and that one. But yeah, before I put the new valve seals on though, I'm going to clean up the valves from the carbon buildup. And once those are clean, I'm going to use this valve lock. I'm going to use this valve lapping compound, grinding compound, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to put some of that on the angled part right here, the 45-degree angle part right there. And then spin it with this hose and the drill and create like a new surface right here on the valve seat. So it'll clean it up, because this has like sand, for lack of better words, that like cleans this up when you spin it. And yeah, it'll give us a way better seal. That way everything's sitting as flat as possible, and we get a really good seal on the head. That way we're not getting smoke coming out the exhaust, and we have as good of a rebuild as possible. All right, I'm gonna start off with this one just because it has quite a bit of buildup on it. I'm just gonna start off with something light, the degreaser and the steel brush, and hopefully we can get all of that off. I'm not gonna worry about this bottom side just because I've heard it's way harder to take the bottom side like carbon buildup off. So I'm just gonna go for this. Que al cabo, the bottom looks pretty good anyway, so I'm not worried about it. Well, so far, I don't know, it almost really didn't even do anything. So I think what I'm gonna do is use the wire wheel on the drill, and I think that'll get us to where we wanna be, because that's not it. All right, well, it's actually working. Look at that. And it's not tearing up the valve like I thought it would, like scratching the hell out of it. Hell yeah, so I just need to keep going. Yes, sir. All right, guys, check it out. They look clean, man. Especially like these other ones. Look at that. Whoo! Compared to how they were, they look almost new. Besides the exhaust ones, because I mean, I'd imagine the heat makes it stick a lot more. So let me show you real quick. And I noticed the exhaust one's even bigger, but you can see how much better it cleaned off than the exhaust ones. I did the best I could. I don't want to take too much time. I just wanted to clean them so they're not going in the same way as they came out. All right, guys, here's my little mechanism that I made. That's the length of the hose that I need. And then I just use a zip tie down here. And now that holds the valve in really good so it doesn't slip out as I pull with the drill. And then this other end will just, boom, slip into there, and then I could tighten that. But honestly, there's just no quick way around this. We just got to put in the work and be patient, because we don't want to cut too much off of the seat. We just want to do enough to where it cleans it up and it more or less kind of looks like this one, a little cleaner, but yeah, you can see like these ones, how bad those are. So we just want to get that clean, but without taking off too much material. All right, so you can see what I'm talking about in there, how it has like the kind of sand slash texture in there. That's what's going to help us create the seat. And it just literally goes right here, right on this like darker little edge that you see. And that's going to clean all that up and have it nice and shiny. All right, let's check that. All right, check it out. So that was literally like 30 seconds worth. We still got a little bit more to do, but compared to that, that's how it looked before, or even that. So she's cleaning up really good. We got a little bit more to go. The valve's looking really good though. Look at that. How well that cleaned up, man. Whoo! All right, ladies and gentlemen, look at the seats now. I got them all done, all 16 of them. Look how clean they're looking, bruh. Compared to how they were, shit, they look almost brand new. Look at the, hell yeah. These are the exhaust ones. And then the intake ones look so good just because they cleaned up so much better. Look at that. But yeah, just for some reason on these, the carbon buildup on the exhaust ones was just way harder to take off. Probably because it just sees more heat. But yeah, we're all fully done with this. Kind of tedious, but now we can flip this thing back over and officially start putting in our new valve seals. All right, so I got the new valve seals now. These blue ones are the exhaust. The brown ones will be for the intake. And to put these on, I will just lube the top part of the valve guides here with a little bit of oil, just some regular, that's 5W20, but you can use whatever. And then I'll use a 10 mil socket here that fits perfectly over the valve seal to just hammer it on lightly. And that's pretty much how that goes. It should be pretty simple. I hope we don't run into any problems and it goes smooth, because from here progress will start to ramp up quick, because this is pretty much the end of all the tedious work, like cleaning the valves, reseating them, taking the valve seals off is kind of tough. So from here we should be able to expedite this shit quite a bit. All right, so first some oil for some lubrication. Well, just over the tip of that. Grab our new seal right here, one of the blue ones. Put that on there. There we go. So it's easier if I use the metal side to hit the socket, because you can hear the noise change when it fully seats. It'll sound more solid. See, you can hear that. Sounds like when it's done, it sounds more like you're hitting directly onto metal, if that makes sense. All right, ladies and gents, we have all the valve seals in. That was honestly nice and easy. Compared to everything else we've been doing, it didn't take too much time. Just a few hits on each one. And once you hear the metal change from, like the pitch, once you hear it change from hitting it, that's when you know it's fully seated. So now from here, we can finally start putting all this back in. I'm gonna start, I guess I've been doing the exhaust side every time first, so I'll just do exhaust side and then the intake side for the valves. There we go. Now just slowly back it off. All right, well, we're finally all done putting the valves and the springs back into the head. She's looking good, man. I gotta say, this clamp, although it's from Harbor Freight, man, those $60 that I spent on it, it performed perfectly, man. But now this is the part where it's gonna start coming together fast. So we're gonna need this seal before we can do anything. So this goes on the end of the cam here, on the gear side here. So we need to put that in first before we could put the rocker assembly on. See, and this is the seal right here that I'm talking about that needs to get replaced. All right. Yes, sir. And it should have a key in here, like a little small metal brick looking thing, so that this thing doesn't like turn on itself. See, so right there, I don't know if you can see it very well. I'll show you when I take it out. Damn, hopefully this isn't like seized on here. Oh, there we go. Damn, it'd be cool if I could, I mean, this will do, but having that nice aftermarket cam gear would be pretty sick. Looks like the cam gear has it built in, but you can see it right there. That little notch right there. That's so it holds itself onto there and it doesn't like spin and fuck up the timing. So we'll put that aside. Now we could just slip off the seal, which you can tell. Damn, I need better lighting. Give me a second. So it's a good thing we're replacing it because it looks a little beat and you could see it was clearly leaking. So good thing I ordered that. This one right here, the Felpro, that's the part number for the Z6. I'm pretty sure it's the same for all D series, but yeah, here's that notch where that keyway goes. Oh, come on, baby. You're really gonna stretch that much? There's an opening right here. There you go. Nice and fresh. Make sure it's the same size. Yes, sir. Cool. Wait. Yeah, it should do. Now I'm just gonna get a little bit of that Earl. Dab it on the finger. And then just put some on the inside right here. You always want to lubricate your seals. Don't put them in dry. So now you just, oh yeah, see this one has, it's gonna have a tight fit compared to that other one, boy. She's gonna seal up nice. So I'm not gonna be able to torque this down because I'm just not gonna have enough force to hold it over here. So I'm just gonna kind of tighten it with the gun and then we'll go ahead and hit it with the 27 pounds a little bit later. There you go. So I'm gonna be using the same thing I've been using for like the bearings and stuff, this assembly lube. But before we do that, I'm just gonna go ahead and give her a quick once over, wipe her down. So there's no bearings on the cam, it just rides directly on the cylinder head. You can see the marks on it. Just gonna do a little bit. I'll just do that little bit to start. That way it's not falling everywhere, and then I'll spread it after I finish cleaning the cam. Spin it a little bit. Give it some lubrication. All right, well, there it is. The cam is in there, looking beautiful. We got the brand new seal on there. So now it's time to bust out this rocker arm. I also got that in a bag and start fitting that. That one's, yeah, I guess tricky because there's a lot of moving parts and it has multiple parts to it. So we just got to be a little bit careful, but should be pretty straightforward as well. All right, so now this is where we have to be pretty careful. There's a lot of moving parts around here. Just gonna go ahead and put some lube on all of this right here. All right, so now before I fully seat this down, because you see it has dowel pins in there, but I need to apply some Honda Bond right here on these surfaces where it mates up to it. So right there on this side, and then same thing on this bearing cap right here. And this actually, so the store brand like Advanced and AutoZone, that brand is the Permatex Ultra Gray, but this shit, don't be confused, man. This one works way better. All right, so from here, I just gotta tap it this way a little bit to have these dowel pins sit over. There we go. And then I can start tapping her down. I think everything's good. All right, so now that we got the dowel pins lined up on the rocker assembly, the only way it's fully gonna seat is if we put this top cover on and then we start running the bolts down, because now since the rocker assembly is in and we also have the cam in here, as we start to push down, it's gonna start pushing on the valves. So there's gonna be pressure on this thing. So there's no way we're gonna fully seat it just like this. We have to run it down with the bolts. So this arrow here, that arrow, I don't know if you can see it real good, but that points towards the cam gear. There we go. So now we got these smaller bolts over here. There we go. Just a little bit of persuasion. All right, now don't freak out. I'm just gonna run these down with the impact just so I don't spend too much time, but I'll torque them down with an actual torque wrench. So these are gonna go to 16, these 12 mil bolts are gonna go to 16 pounds, and then the smaller outside ones are gonna go to 9 pounds. And this does have a torque sequence, so you want to start from inside out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. Because since it has pressure, you don't want to just do one side and then the other, or else you'll risk like warping this thing. All right, so we're going to start again from inside out. These 12 mils are 16 pounds. Oh, come on. I need to hold this side. There we go. Now, if I turn this thing over, we should be able to see some valves open now. All right, so check it out. We got 1 and 2 open, and then these 2 over here. Yes, sir. Making progress, man. Ooh, we're getting closer, bruh. So now, I believe we're ready to throw this thing onto the block. Put the head gasket on there and torque her down, man. And then after that, we just got to do timing and then some sensors here and there, and she'll be ready. I've run into just a little bit of a problem. So I'm getting ready to install this front main seal on the oil pump here. It actually looks like the cam seal that we installed earlier. I wonder how much different it is, but so that's easy. That just goes right there. But then the thing is, back here, right here, there's an O-ring, which I already took out, and there's no way we can reuse this. Like, look how flat it is, and it just feels, it almost doesn't feel like rubber anymore. It feels like it's just gonna crack. But I don't know where I'm gonna get that O-ring, man. I had my little kit here, but the biggest one's too small, so I'm gonna have to do some digging, because I mean, I could still go ahead and torque the head down and stuff, but to do the head and stuff, but to do the timing, I'm gonna need that O-ring, because I need to put that oil pump on before I do the timing and stuff. So, oh, damn, man. I guess I could go home and spend the night trying to go to like AutoZone and O'Reilly's and see if they have that by chance. But yeah, hopefully that doesn't hold us up. All right, so this is what's gonna make the magic happen between sealing the head to the block. We got the Cometic head gasket. It is equal or better to than the OEM. It's a MLS multi-layered steel, so that should hold up no problem. And then I was gonna get ARP head studs, but they were 150 bucks. And although I can reuse them, I didn't really see the point in spending that when I got these Molly ones for $50. And when I thought about it more, I was like, I'm not gonna spend $100 more when I'm just staying NA power. So if I was boosting it, of course I'd have got the ARPs, but since, like I said, we're staying NA, I'm just gonna try to make this as affordable as possible, and then when we need to, then we'll just upgrade it, you know what I'm saying? All right, guys, well, I was able to find the O-ring and the gasket for the oil pump, but I won't be getting that until tomorrow, Sunday, but we could still move forward. I'm just gonna go ahead, torque the head onto the block, and have it be one full piece. Man, this is the moment I've been waiting for. We've been putting in so much work to get it to this point, and now we just got to torque it down. And then after that, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with these things. These are the timing covers, but they're so beat, man. I don't know if I'll be able to bring them back to any sort of glory, because it's gonna look weird. Like I said, like this setup looks clean, having it all clean and painted and stuff, but then that creates more work with everything else, because now this looks like shit compared to this. And then if I just throw everything else on it like that, then it's kind of just gonna drown out all the nice stuff I did to the engine. So everything else has to be clean. So yeah, we got to figure that out after we torque the head. All right, so I had to put the cam gear here in top dead center, so we line it up with these two dash marks here on the head, make sure it's level with the head. And then there's a, you can barely see it, but there's the word up right here, that'll face up. And then that way, let me just turn this, and then that way it gets cylinders, like you can see those valves open and these ones up here, so that's 2 and 3, and that way it closes all of 1 and 4. So then we got to come over here to the block and kind of do the same thing, like it's not really, but kind of timing it. So we want to have this first cylinder right here at top dead center, back a little bit, right there. So these are closed on the head over there, as well as these, and these are the ones that are open. So we don't want the valves hitting the pistons. So we have to kind of time it. That way I could throw the head on here before we do the actual timing. And now we can put our beautiful head gasket on here. So this can pretty much only go one way. So it has to go like this. Boom. Like that. Now the moment that we've all been waiting for, boy. Can't see. There it is. I just need a mallet to help it seat. There we go. Just fell into place. Ooh, let's go, bitch. Fuck with me, let's go. Yes, sir. She's on there. Let's go. What a moment, man. What a moment. Let's go. All right, now we can move on to the head bolts. But the thing we need to do with these, so I have the oil here again. We're gonna have to put some oil on the threads per the book. Oil on the threads and the contact surface for the washer. So the bottom of the washer here where it makes contact right here. So with this, it's simple. We just pretty much, boom, put some oil on there. Then we take some, put it on the washer, going in. Boom. Number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and last but not least, 10. All right, now I'm just gonna make sure that some threads have catched before I go ahead, because I'm gonna just run them down with the impact, not tighten them, but just so I'm not doing it by hand. I just want to make sure that the threads are gonna catch. That way we don't go cross thread anything. That would be the worst fucking thing that could happen. All right, now just lightly. There you go. Boom. See, I ain't even letting it click. I guess there I did. But just so it doesn't take so long running them down by hand. All right, so now that that's on, we got to torque them down. I wrote them down right here. So the first step is 22 pounds, and then we'll go with the second step at 53 pounds. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, baby. Let's go. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you hit that like button as well, because this is my first time ever doing it, man. We've been building this from literally from the bottom to the top, man. So now from here, I could focus on these plastic pieces and see what I'm gonna do about that. I'm gonna do some research. I'm gonna see, because my sister just pulled up in her hatch and she has a 96, so it's the D16Y7. So I'm gonna see if the timing covers the same. That way I can order one, because they don't sell one specifically for the Z6 for some reason. I've been trying to look and nothing comes up. It's all from the 96 to 2000. So I spent some time looking, and unfortunately it seems like we're just gonna have to run these. This top one, I can probably get a new one because that is for sure the same. But the bottom cover over here, that one's for sure different. I don't know why they don't sell one specifically for the Z6. It's only the Y7 and Y8. It's weird, but it's not the same. So I'm gonna have to figure something out with that. I'll probably have to power wash them and try to see how good I could get them to look. Maybe if I get them clean enough, I could spray them. But yeah, I don't know. So instead of focusing on that and wasting time, I'm gonna just keep putting stuff on, like the oil filter. I got it right here. It's Sunday today, so I'm gonna get that O-ring for the back of the water or the oil pump right here. And then I already do have more sensors, so like the one that goes here for the coolant temp, the sender, and all kinds of other stuff. So actually, and I got that VTEC. I'll need to clean it too. So here's the VTEC solenoid. I have the gasket, and then just a bunch of other parts in that box. All right. Oh shit, I almost dropped it. We got the oil filter ready to go on. That'll do. All right, I believe this is that little small, yeah. So this is the temperature sender here. It has that one wire cable that looks like a pin. So that, I don't believe, should I? Oh, I guess it has. Someone previously put silicone. I'm gonna clean that real quick. There we go. All right, we got just a little bit of that Honda bond on there, just to make sure. I just got to tighten her down a little bit. Right about there. Happy with that. All right, next we got this beautiful sensor. This is the temperature sensor. This other one's the sender. And this one for sure doesn't have to have any of that Honda bond because it has this O-ring right here. So this one we do have to run it all the way down though. This one I kind of just did until it felt tight. Not too tight though because I didn't want to strip it. But this is probably going to be like a 17 or something. Let's see. No, that's definitely bigger than that. All right, third time is the charm. Yay, 19. All right, cool. That should be good. All right, guys, next part going on is this VTEC solenoid. I spent so much time cleaning this thing, man. I cleaned the bolts on it. The only way I could have gotten it cleaner is if I ice blasted it. I got all up in there, cleaned the bracket, painted the little body of the solenoid up here. New gasket in there, new gasket in here. So yeah, let's bolt this thing on, man. She looks so good. I'll put a before on the screen real quick so you can see the transformation. All right, there it is, man. That looks good. God, that looks proper, man. Whew, let's go. I'm proud of that. All right, next piece that's going on is this new washer. This is for the block drain plug for the coolant right here. I took that off, and if you guys watched the previous videos, there was a bunch of, I think it was like stop leak in there. I don't know if they if they had like overheating issues or what the deal was, but it looked like shit. So I took that off, and then I went ahead and cleaned the bolt. I'm not gonna spray it just because I think it'll look kind of tacky having even the bolts the same color as the block. So I just cleaned it up. It looks good enough like that. I don't know the spec on it to torque it down, so I'm just gonna go to 32 pounds because there's another one that I didn't take off here. This one, that one goes to 29. That's also a drain plug for the coolant. So this one's a little bit bigger. I'll go a few more pounds on it. All right. All right, next item. Look how clean this thing is, man. I cleaned it. It looked worse than that one, honestly. And look, I mean, besides buying a new one, shit, that looks so good. It does have this little bit of just yellow staining because I'd imagine from like the cam seal leaking, it just built up right there and it just kind of stained the plastic. But fuck, let's go. That looks so sick. I do have to take the cam gear back off, but I haven't torqued it down anyway. So yeah, we got to get that on because this thing goes behind that and it doesn't slip in behind it. All right, that shit. This thing's slowly coming together, man. Looks so good. All right, so now we can finally, that's the O-ring I was waiting for. Goes right here. All right, man, the only thing, well, I mean, I guess I'm asking for a lot too, though, because I'm trying to do the best I can with the tools that I had here. But if I was able to use an ice blaster, man, it would have been clean. But like, I wish I would have been able to take all that out, get well up in there. I mean, it's hard though. What am I gonna use? You know what I'm saying? But it looks good. It looks good. So now that we got the pump on there, I'm gonna start doing this crossover tube, and I also have new O-rings for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got this crossover tube and thermostat housing kind of torn apart because this side goes into here. But I sanded the tube down. I'm gonna respray it black just so it looks clean. And then this thing, I managed to clean it up. Look how good that looks now. Hell yeah. And then I also got brand new O-rings for it. So this is the same part number. We're gonna have one there and one there. So these are the old ones that came off. They still feel okay actually for how old they are. They don't feel all hella dry. But regardless, we have those because we just don't want any leaks, you know what I'm saying? While I was doing that though, I was also cleaning this little housing here, which is the piece that goes on the front right here. I cleaned it up and then I sprayed it. I know I'm keeping like the VTEC solenoid, the original like metal finish, even though I'm not painting it. Same thing with this, because I don't want, like I'm saying, I don't want it to look too tacky with everything the exact same. So at least you'll be able to know that, you know, there's a difference, but it still looks clean. But since this one sits like directly on here and is like, it looks like it is actually part of the head. So I just went ahead and painted that and it came out clean, man. We just got to throw it on there. All right, about to put this on. I put some Honda Bond on there just to make sure, because this one doesn't use a gasket. And then I put some on the bolts too. All right, dude. That shit looks good. I also cleaned up the bolts, so they look fresh, my boy. Let's go. Damn. This thing turned out sick, man. It almost looks like a brand new piece. That black just made the coolant pipe that much better. Hell yeah, she looks official. And then we got new O-rings on each of the sides. I just lubed it up with some oil before putting it in on this side, which is what I'll do over here too. But yeah, that just helps slide it in. And plus, you never want to just install your O-rings without lubricating them. So we have to have oil on there anyway. But yeah, we got a solid seal, man. It's time to put this thing in. Damn, that does so much for the engine. Holy shit, it makes it look so much more complete, even though it's just that piece. Hell yeah, it looks so good. Let's go. All right, this is the next piece that's going on. It's what's called a breather box. It's pretty much like a catch can for the engine, like factory. It just has this piece back here that goes into the block down here. Put a new O-ring on there, cleaned it up. It looks so good. It almost looks new. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Little by little, man, she's coming together. That's so sick. Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we're getting to the serious part. So this is the timing belt kit that I got. It has the water pump and all that. It's a Gates. There's the part number for you. So I prefer Gates over anything else that they sell, unless there's like this company called Aisin, AISIN. That's like original manufacturer, but you rarely find that. And I don't know, I've always had good luck with the Gates, so that's what I'm doing, man. It's just as good as OEM, and I've never had an issue with it. Timing belt looking real nice. The water pump, brand new tensioner, looking clean compared to that. And then the new spring. Damn, look how much more compressed this one is than this one. That's crazy. That's what happens over time. All right, next is going to be the new tensioner. And I cleaned this rubber piece and it turns out that it's green. There's some black to it. Maybe it's just super stained, but she's looking way better. And then I also went ahead and cleaned the head of the bolt a little bit. So that's looking almost brand new. Let's go. All right, and now for the final piece of the puzzle, we got to do the timing belt. So first we got to put this little washer on, and there's like a side, I don't know if you can see it, that like sticks out this way. That points towards the block on the back side here. And then we got this to go on there. The gear, it only goes one way because it has this key on it, which goes on this notch on the crank. Boom. And then we want to align, you can see this notch here with the arrow on the oil pump. So they're pretty much bang on right there. And then up here on the cam, so on the Z6, you want to line up this mark on the cam with this pointer here on the back cover. There's other D series where you line up these two marks here level with the cylinder head, but on the Z6 it's like this right here. And then there's this second washer, and the second washer, so you find that lip again, but this time it has to point away from it, because if it's pointing towards the belt, it's just gonna ruin it. So it'll sit sandwiched like that. All right, so now the timing belt. Now per the book, it says to go around the crank here, up above the tensioner, around the pump, and up around the cam gear. But this backside here is the intake side. Here's the exhaust, and the engine rotates like this. So if it rotates like this, this is the tension side because it's pulling down on the belt. So I like to go this way, just straight up around the cam, and then around that way. That way we can have the tension here and the slack here. Still on time here. It's looking beautiful right there. Now after this step, some people say to put the timing cover on, put the crank pulley on, tighten it and all that shit, and then like set the tension. But with the notch here on the gear on the crank and lining it up to the arrow on the oil pump, I think it's more than enough. But just because I'm paranoid, I will just lay the cover over the top and then put the crank on there just to make sure those markings line up. But so far we're looking good. So now we got tension here and then slack over here. Look at that. Yes sir. I do still need to clean this. Look how dirty that is. That shit is disgusting, bro. But the thing that sucks is I can't find any ones for the Z6. It's only the Y8, and I looked it up and it's not the same. I tried to look at pictures just to see if the mounting holes and everything was the same, but it's not, man. So this is one of the things. Like this one, I cleaned it up and it actually turned out really good, so I didn't have to buy another one. But this one, even though there's a good chance that we could clean it up just as good, I would have rather still got a new one, because you know the new just looks absolutely fresh. And plus this one's covered anyway by the other top cover, so so that wouldn't have been a big deal. But yeah, I guess we just got to go with what we got, man. All right guys, so now it's time to set the tension. So we got it top dead center, and we're still good over here. So now what I'm gonna do is turn the crank about 3 teeth down this way, because it rotates counterclockwise. That way we can get tension on this side and see how there's slack over here. And once we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten the adjustment bolt to 33 foot-pounds. But the trick here is to kind of hold down the cam. That way it tightens the belt just that little bit more. Keeping pressure over here. Now, let's check that. Oh yeah, see, that feels nice. And then look at, and then yeah, that feels good. Hell yeah. Now we're just gonna tighten this down. 33 foot-pounds. All right, timing is set, baby. Oh yeah, that feels beautiful. Slack, nice and tight, baby. All right guys, this next piece or pieces I'm so happy about, man. They turned out so good compared to how they were, man. Check this shit out. Damn, the covers came out so good, bro. Damn, they don't even look like the same ones. This one looks pretty much brand new, and then this one, it looks spectacular. It just has that like little bit of staining from the oil, but I mean, hey, besides being new, it looks so fucking good, man. You can't get any closer to new than that. I also cleaned up these gaskets here. They look really good. I'm so happy about that. Even the backsides cleaned up really good. Hell yeah. God damn, that took some work, but they look so sick. They look so sick. All right, let's get them on there, man. Oh yeah, and I also forgot to show you this. The crank pulley. It had like, you could still see remnants of it, like the gold right there. It had some on the front part here and a little bit on this outer ring. So I just went ahead and sprayed it black, and it looks way better. It's gonna look even cleaner sitting up against them covers. Okay, so next we need the other side of this little plate here. That way it can create like a sandwich for the timing belt and it doesn't come off. And then after that, now we can put this beautiful thing on here. And I know you guys in the comments are gonna be like, hey, but you gotta put this mount in first. Yes, we do, but this is for just the effect, you know what I'm saying? That way we can have it as part of this video, because I still need to clean all that, and that's gonna be a whole other process. Ooh, that shit looks sick. Let's go. That's still spinning in there. All right. And then I'm just gonna put this crank pulley on there without the key for now, just because we don't need it for right now, because then, I mean, obviously this is gonna come all back off, but like I'm saying, just for the effect, you know what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, this thing is coming together so good, man. At this point, if all this work doesn't deserve a subscribe and a like right now, I mean, I don't know what else to do, man. Let's just throw this on here real quick, because this valve cover has to sit over this top plastic piece. Let's get that side angle. Let's go. Let's go, man. All right, ladies and gents, the distributor is the next piece going on. I also cleaned it up. Looks really good now. I mean, at this point, I'm cleaning everything. You guys should know by now. You know what I'm saying? So we also got a new O-ring on there to help it seal. And yeah, she's ready, man. She looks really good. It also has, I'm not sure if they got it from Honda, but it has a OEM fucking distributor cap on there. That's crazy. And it should be pretty straightforward going on. There we go. Nice and easy. Now this thing, the distributor, I'll just leave it loosely on there, because then we'll have to come back when we go to fire it up. We'll have to get a timing light to time it. I think it's supposed to be at like 14 degrees. So yeah, whatever that will be, that's what it's gonna be. All right, there it is, man. I'm telling you, every piece we add just makes it look more official, man. Hell yeah, she's looking good. So in a moment like this is when I feel fortunate, because I'm getting ready to clean the intake, and luckily I have two to choose from. And I've been looking at them, and I think I'm gonna go with this one, because I mean, look at the condition. Just first of all, that is crazy. I don't know why this one has so much oxidation compared to this one, but I'm just gonna go ahead with this one. This one's more complete, but I figured I could just strip this one all the way down so I could clean the intake by itself, because I actually bought some aluminum brightener. This is the first time I'm ever gonna use it, so I hope we have some good results, because it'd be nice to not have to scrub so much after all the cleaning that we've done, man. And supposedly it's supposed to clean it really good without scrubbing and remove oxidation. So that's what I'm hoping for. And then any extra parts or anything that we need, well, real quick, we are gonna need to switch this over. So we're gonna need a gasket for this. We're gonna need to switch this piece over, the fuel pressure regulator. I'll need a O-ring for that. And then we have this, we have the throttle body, we have that. Okay, so not too many things. I also do have the brand new sensor for that right there. That's for the intake. And whatever else we need, we can just make one good one out of two, not bad ones, but two, I guess, parts ones. All right, I'm gonna hit it with some degreaser first just to see what this does for us. Get most of the grime off before we do the brightener. That way it doesn't have to do that much work. Right now, let's try the magic. Hopefully it works. Damn, the degreaser did a good job by itself. Oh, it's working. It's turning white. Let's go. All right, let's hose her down. Oh yeah. Yo, that shit looks clean. I don't know if you could tell on camera, but it looks like I painted it. Oh my God, why didn't I do this to the engine? That looks great. Holy shit. All right, and that's after 2 passes or 2 sprays with the fucking brightener. That shit looks crazy. It looks brand new. My God. I don't know why I didn't think about that for the engine, man. I'll just do it for the trans, I guess. You know, we live and we learn. I don't know everything, so time to hit this side. All right, ladies and gentlemen, to say that I am pleased with this aluminum brightener is a fucking understatement, man. Look at this thing, bro. God damn. Let's go. Oh, you guys don't even know how much time that saves, man. I should have just done it to the engine, but like I said, hey, I don't know everything, man, and I don't claim to. But check this thing out though. But now you know that I know, we can do it with the transmission. But look at this shit. It looks like I bought an intake. Besides right here, it's all pitted and stuff. But hey, it's 100 times better than what it was, baby. Let's go. Let's go. I kind of cleaned this. I didn't want to go like anywhere near as crazy on the throttle body just because I'm paranoid that something will happen to it. So I'd rather just kind of clean it and have it look okay. But we got the bracket clean for the alternator, the other bracket there, the engine mount bracket. I'm gonna spray those black just so they look clean as fuck. And then I did manage to kind of clean up the alternator. It doesn't look like the best, but compared to how it was, man, it'll do. It'll still look good on there. And then the fuel rail too, cleaned up really nice. Has some oxidation on it still, but I'll take it, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the big reveal, man. So much hard work, but there she is. All put together. We got the covers on this side with the crank pulley. Yes, sir. Got the alternator with the brackets on there. I painted those, cleaned that one up, cleaned the alternator. And look at the manifold, man. She's looking so good. God damn, I transferred a lot of pieces from the old one, like the fuel pressure regulator, cleaned that up. I had to transfer this over, the IAC, cleaned that up. Look how good that looks. But yeah, and then we got all this going on down here too. We got the support bracket that goes from the block to the bottom of the intake. I put a new intake sensor on here, new filter, the crossover tube, and then the like breather box slash catch can right there. Whew. Oh yeah, and I also got a new PCV valve. So she's looking good, man. Cleaned up the distributor, the thermostat housing. I started routing some of these hoses too, so that one's already good to go, this one. And then, yeah, man. Oh, and then I also got lucky because I got a Honda oil fill cap, so that's pretty fucking sick, man. This thing came out so sick. Oh my God, there's still work to do, but yeah, man, so much good work went into this video. If you haven't already, man, and this isn't worth a subscribe, then I don't know what is, because this shit's coming out incredible. I can't wait to keep going on it. But for now, this is where we're going to leave it off. We're at a really good stopping point. So at this point, pretty much the engine is ready to go. We don't really have anything else to do. I mean, in the future, after we put it in the car, we'll get some headers and all that kind of shit. But this point here is where the engine's pretty much ready, man. She has everything she needs. And now we just got to keep making this progress, man. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.